Alright, so here's venting. You can see where the client has sprayed black stuff to try and seal the leaks. And you can see right there a little water droplet. And right there, you can see where my shadow makes the leak go away. Anyway, so we're going to replace it back to just beyond. You can see my blue mark on the top, just beyond that coupler. Now just note that if the fitting is wanting to leak, then when you use a Sawzall on it and you shake it, then it's going to make all the rest of the fittings leak. So you don't want to shake it. You want to be very gentle. So what I did, just to start, the first thing I did, I checked the slope. I don't like this slope. I feel like it's not sloped enough. So I want to lower this pipe down maybe an inch or something, but I don't know how much yet. So that's gonna be the last thing I do. So basically, take your tape measure and you just replicate what's here. So you go from about that point. Okay, so you have a little bit of fitting there to, so about where 8 3/4 is on that fitting. Okay, so 8 3/4, and then next you go up, you have issues, so about there and about there, so about where 20.5 is. Okay, and then, oops, and then I marked down here to this spot at about 25, and that's going to be a little bit variable. It doesn't have to be perfect. So when I'm finished, I will see if I can pull this off. If not, I'm going to have to cut it, put a coupler in, and see how long this piece is. Alright, so I went ahead and cut it with my Sawzall, and I put primer pretty heavy on both, and then put glue pretty heavy on both, so that the glue kind of drips out. And then push it on, give it a 1/4 of a turn as you push. And then once you have it pushed on where you want it, you hold it for 30 seconds, and then it shouldn't start backing off. If you just push it on, then the static electricity pushes it back off. Okay, so next I have that cut, so I just need to connect over there. So I already have my measurements, so I'm just dry fitting it just to see how it looks. So, and these fittings, I already measured off the existing. You notice that I'm not putting it in all the way right here. I just put it in a little bit, and it's just to see everything. Oh, I want to mention also, when you're cutting this, do it over cardboard, and then just rub the, stay on there. Just rub it with your finger, like this. Just rub it, and it'll peel off most of these little shavings, and then your cardboard should save it. Okay. So there's a 45. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I have an 8-inch piece, 8 3/4. Moved. about all that. So you can see a drastic slope. We don't need that much slope. We don't want that much slope. So I need to cut a piece about that much. And since I'm holding the camera, it's so I don't like that slope. I want a little more. So what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna grab a pen. Okay, so I penned it. All right. So I'll show you. I'll take it apart. Come on now. Okay, so tape measure from this part of the fitting right here to where my mark is right about 4 1/4. Okay, anyways, 4 1/4. Then take your fitting here and just measure the inside of it to the, and we're at right an inch. Right, an inch and a half. Okay, 1.5 inches. So 4 1/4 plus 1.5 inches is how long I want to cut it. Then use a little coupler. So the coupler, you can see this little ring, a little less than 1/4 inch. So we could, to be precise, subtract it. So it'd be 4 1/4 plus 1.5 inches minus about 1/4 inch. But let's just go with it. 4 1/4 plus 1.5 inches. So what's that? 5 3/4. So you put that on, put the piece that we cut in right here, and then we can glue the 90 right onto it. Once we have that piece cut, then we'll start gluing it all together. All right, so we got to do some gluing, and now I want to point out the lids are off. That's a no-no, but because I'm one-handed, I'm doing it anyways. Okay, you always put your lids on in between every step. So it'd be easier to work on if it was. Okay, so purple primer. I think this primer is, something's wrong with it because it's not really purple. But anyway, I don't know if it was got rainwater. I mean, I would figure the rainwater would, I don't know. Maybe it's just old. Okay, so your purple primer, you put purple primer on really good. You clean the whole thing really good. Okay, then you put the lid on. Then the purple primer goes on this fitting. So purple prime the inside. It's almost empty. So basically what primer does, it cleans it, and so it cleans off any oils that makes the glue not stick, but it also melts the plastic a little bit. So PVC bonding, that's what's important about it, is melting the plastic to each other. It's not just like, you know, some glue you put in. So I have another can. I'm gonna open up this can. Okay, got it open. Look at that. It looks like it's actually purple. Okay, so here's a reason why you don't primer things, if you can help it, on top of the furnace. Anyways, I'm going to show you a little mistake that I made. A second here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I also have this piece that needs it. Now, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prime it from the bottom up. I'm not gonna prime it the top down because I don't want it to run. So I'm gonna prime it here. So let's see if I can set the camera. Can't tell if you can see this or not. Okay, so now you tip it upside down and it's not going to run, right? Oh, you can see where there's some oil on it or something. So that's what the primer's all about, is cleaning all that stuff off. Okay. Now, I hope you saw that, by the way. Okay, instructions say put the majority of it on the male and a little bit less on the female. But with 3-inch, you just got to get a lot of glue on it. And the glue doesn't take too long to set up, maybe like 30 or 45 seconds. So you just get your glue on it. Let me set this down. Okay, so got my glue on it. So, by the way, primer. So I'm going to hide that by spinning it down. And I want this fitting to be like that. I'm going to use both hands. Okay, now I hold it for 30 seconds. Alright. Glue. So of course glue is clear, so if it runs it's not as big of a deal. We'd rather it not run, but it's just not as important. The purple primer is super ugly and obvious when it runs. So I should show one more thing about purple primer. Okay, here it goes. Put it in and give it a little twist. And then hold. Okay, so as far as code goes, you see how there's a little bit right here? Code wants some purple primer showing. And they want a 1/2 inch of purple primer. Purple primer is so ugly. So this joint, where you don't see any purple primer, I like my joints looking like that. That one, it's a little bit too much. A little too much purple primer. So, you see right here, where there's just barely any. That's good. And right there. So the inspector wants to see that. The professional wants to see that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest. All right, we're finished. So slope is good. Slope's good over there. Our connections are all nice and tight. I spilled the glue. So if this was on any other kind of floor, I'd have scrambled to clean that up like within as few seconds as possible. I'd have ripped off my shirt, done it with my shirt. I'd have done whatever I could have done to clean that up. Anyways, so we got it supported over here.